So you're on an upslope, you're playing a full shot into the green, we're around about 100 metres or so away. So what do you do when you're on quite a severe upslope coming in with a full shot? Get yourself perpendicular first and foremost. Don't try and fight the slope and get level to the slope, so you're going to make it as much like a normal shot as possible. And then the other thing is to work with the slope. So swing through and up and finish forward. It's very easy on a slope to sort of finish back and top the shot. So get yourself perpendicular, make sure the weight travels forward and finishes on the front. So downhill lies when your front foot is lower than your back foot. There's really only two things you need to worry about. Ball position is your first one. It's going to move back towards your right foot. So if your ball position is normally just left of centre for the club that you've chosen, then just move it back about an inch. And the other thing is getting your body as perpendicular to the slope as you possibly can. So that will actually mean the weight is going to be a little bit onto that front foot to get you nice and perpendicular. So you've got your ball position back, you've got your body perpendicular, then you're just going to try and swing down through the slope. Don't be tempted to try and lift it up off the slope. Swing down through the slope. Okay, ball back, body perpendicular, down through the slope. All right, hopefully that'll help you next time you've got a downhill slopey lie. So when you're pitching off an upslope, the upslope can actually help you a little bit. And the ball will tend to go up a little bit higher off an upslope, so you can take some loft off your club. So if you normally would need a sand wedge to pitch, you can go down to a pitching wedge because the upslope will add height, so you don't actually need as much loft on your club, which is a safer option. So the less loft you have at any one time, the safer the shot is. So when you're on an upslope, we want to get our body fairly perpendicular to the slope if we can, and then we just want to play it as much like a normal pitching shot as we can. Don't try and lift it up the slope. Whatever you do, sweep through the bottom of the ball and let the club do the work. And remember, you'll get a higher shot off an upslope, so you can take some loft off the club. So when you're on an upslope of the bunker, it's actually not as difficult as it might seem. It's a lot easier than on the downslope at the back of the bunker because you can use the slope to your advantage. So get yourself in and get as comfortable as you can. That might be the hardest part. Once you're in, try and set up as much like a normal bunker shot as you can in terms of being as perpendicular to the slope as you can. And then you're going to use the slope to sweep down through the sand and continue through. In other words, you're not going to just hit in because the club will get stuck. So you want to sweep up through the slope, still taking the sand obviously. So just like a normal bunker shot. Splash into the sand, the slope will help lift the ball up. So actually it's not as bad as it might seem if the lie is reasonably good. So get perpendicular, treat it as much like a normal bunker shot as you can and follow through. So what do you do when it's a blind shot? So this will apply whether you're at home on a course that you know or on a new course that you've never seen before. It can be a little bit intimidating when you've got a shot that you can't see your target up over the brow of a hill. So all you need to do is take a walk, in this case, up to the top of the hill until such time as you can see the target. Then pick a spot directly behind your target, like a tree. If there's nothing, then pick a spot on the top of the hill, like a dark patch or a sort of a leaf or something like that. Make sure that it's directly between your target and your ball. Pick your spot and then keep that spot in mind as you walk back to your ball. And then once you've got your aiming point, you just go through your normal routine and set up and hit with confidence, because when you're hitting to a blind shot, it can be a little bit intimidating. So pick your spot and then really commit to the shot. Then hopefully next time you've got a blind shot, you can treat it like any other. So what do you do when you can't see where you're heading? And this happens a lot because we get a lot of high elevated shots, especially when you're around the green. Number one thing to do, go up and have a look. Now don't be afraid that this is going to take too long. It doesn't have to take very long at all, and you can do it while other people are playing. Have a look and see where you think you need to land the ball, and then take a sand wedge generally. And then the other thing to remember is to be very positive. Err on the side of a little bit too big rather than a little bit too small. You don't want that ball coming back down the hill to you. Imagine or visualize your spot that you've chosen up there, and then err on the side of a little bit too big. Don't be afraid to be positive with those shots. So every now and again you'll find yourself in one of these tricky positions where you're in the bunker and the ball is out. This might happen on a fairway bunker shot, or it may happen like we've got here next to the green. So what you'll do is you'll choose an 8-iron or a 7-iron, something without too much loft, because a lot of loft will make it difficult to connect. And then you're going to treat it like you would a ball well above your feet shot, which of course is what it is. We're gripping right down on the grip, even onto the metal here. You need to grip down till you get a comfortable distance away from the ball, which, as I said, is going to be right onto the metal. And then you just want to really get it up and get it onto the green, in this case as best you can, like a chip and run shot sort of thing. And be aware that you might hit the ground before the ball, because the ball is so high up and so close to you. So I know it's hard to practice that shot, but if you get a chance, try and do it first. Next time the ball's outside and you're in, grip right down, choose an 8-iron and just play a chip and run shot. I was recently asked by a student, what do you do when you're on a downslope and you need to come over a bunker? Now, luckily you don't face this that often because it's quite a nasty shot. But when you do, there's a couple of things that might help you. So, like in any situation where there's a downslope, you're going to get yourself perpendicular to the slope and you're going to move your ball back. So that's your setup position. Choose a club with some loft, because a downslope will take loft off. In other words, the ball will come out lower. So we're going to add loft, so sand wedge or lob wedge if you've got a good lie. All right, so we're getting ourselves perpendicular. We're moving our ball position back a little bit. We're using lots of loft. Then we're going to try and play it like a normal shot, sweeping down through the slope, and have a couple of practice swings in this situation. And then we pretty much just hope for the best. Okay, that wasn't too bad. I'm pretty happy with that, considering. So downslope at the back of bunker, perpendicular, ball back, add some loft, sweep down through the slope, and don't try and lift it up off that slope.